Yo, what's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to the fourth and final round of locals this week. Here in the fourth round, we have DDD on the left versus branded Despia on the right. Yeah, completely new viable meta strategy after the release of the Albaz Strike structure deck. My friend Dan here on the right versus my friend Partho on the left. Both duelists that you guys have seen on the channel and profiles and duels many times before. So as I get into it here, let's take a look at the poll results. Ask you guys who you thought would win. Just shy of 2,000 votes, and 65% going to Despia and 35% going to DDD. A lot of you guys had some very detailed takes in the comments of this poll, whether, you know, how one deck would win or what card would be the downfall of the other. Some people bringing up Super Poly on whether it is, impactful. It's obviously very good at dealing with DDD boards, but also at the same time, there are other DDD boards that don't directly lose to it, obviously, like the rank 6, Headhunt, and Siegfried boards do fairly well against Super Poly-like boards. So, we'll see our branded Despia player here lead with Aliber searching out the branded fusion, activating its Shadal fusion-like effect to go ahead and be able to fuse from the deck here, dumping the Despian Tragedy and the Fallen of Albaz, going for the Lubellion. And it'll also get the effect of the Tragedy. We're actually not fusing with the Despian Tragedy here, it looks like. Or no, not fusing with Albaz. So switching it up here, going for the Edge Chain and summoning out Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon, I think is the name. And that'll trigger Chain's effect to go ahead and search a copy of Patchwork. And then we're going to see him activate Patchwork here to go ahead and grab another copy of Chain and another copy of Polymerization. A lot of builds have been kind of back and forth on the Patchwork engine. I feel like as I'm recording this, a lot more people are starting to move towards playing other branded cards in the deck for more so of a pure build like Spriggan's Kit, playing Tri-Brigade Mercurier, playing the Counter Trap, branded Retribution, and I believe there's another branded Dragon that some other decks are playing, like some Tri-Brigade variants are playing it with the Trap. On top of playing cards like Branded Lost, which is basically Meltdown for branded cards, which is absolutely insane. Definitely an underrated card, but we'll see him use the Mirror Jade to dump Albion to banish Aluber, so he can activate Albion's effect to go ahead and set a Branded in red directly from the deck. Just so he has some form of interaction for the next turn, probably going for a Guardian Chimera play. A draw 2 and pop 1. Now, since he did use Mirror Jade's effect on his turn, he will not have the Banish effect available on this next turn here. But we will see our DDD player here still lead with the DD Dog, which will still negate the Mirror Jade, even though its effect is turned off this turn because you cannot use it again until the next turn. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and see Branded in red activate, adding back the Tragedy, and then fusing with 3. I think using an Ad Libitum, the Tragedy, and the Mirror Jade, and he is going to go for the Guardian Chimera, which is effect will activate on a new chain to be able to draw 2 cards and destroy 1 card his opponent controls. We're going to see our DDD player fuse here for Genghis with Swirl Slime and Lamia. So he'll go ahead and draw 2. Well, first he'll go ahead and search off of the Tragedy. And then Ad Libitum will revive Mirror Jade. And then draw 2 and pop the Genghis. So a lot of advantage being generated there off of just 1 branded in red. Of course, you can Bell branded in red, but that's why playing cards like Branded Lost is so important, because you cannot respond to something like Branded in red, nor can you activate any effects when a fusion monster is summoned that way either. Literally just like the text on Meltdown. We will see the Ragnarok get summoned off of the Swirl Slime. That'll trigger its effect to bring back Genghis. We're going to see Mirror Jade activate here, dumping another Albion to go ahead and then banish the Genghis, and showing his opponents all the cards known in hand. Approximately 4. Yeah, hand is completely stacked right now. That's the one thing this Despia branded deck does a very good job at, as generating loads and loads of card advantage and putting up a pretty good board while doing so. But I do like it because it's not like an overly unfair deck. I do like that quite a bit. It's not like he's summoning out something like Winda again, which I understand the deck could definitely summon something like Winda. The deck's been able to summon cards like Dragoon, using things like the Light Hex Sealed Fusion, or Goddess of the Third Eye, or King of the Swamp, right? All these other fusion copying cards for the Dark Magician, since there are already Dark Dragons in the deck and things like that. But, you know, it is pretty cool that this is... I hope the deck stays in this, you know, style and doesn't become just another Floodgate deck where if they have that certain interaction and you don't have the out for said interaction, you lose on the spot. I don't really like decks like that too much. That's why I'm not a fan of Scythe Lock decks. Wasn't a fan of Sword Soul while Protoss was a thing, because as overpowered as Protoss was, in my personal opinion, I don't find that type of gameplay very fun, where you have one card, when summoned, immediately locks the opponent from playing. Doesn't necessarily end the game, right? But it might as well. So we're going to see him go ahead and scale a Kepler, and he still has his Pendulum Summon play available to him here. Obviously the Gilgamesh helping get those scales out of the deck, directly from the deck, and making a Pendulum Summon for 1 play here, it looks like. Or, oh no, I think he Pendulum Summoned back the Ragnarok as well. So we can go ahead and get a Send here off of the Copernicus, and I imagine he might go for Necro Slime, as he does not... I mean, this doesn't look like he has too many other avenues of play at the moment, since Sword Slime's already been extended, or expended. It's already used his Pendulum Summon, has already used Copernicus. Probably finding a way to either get to a Synchro 8 play, and definitely already has access to Divisor, because, again, that's easiest summoning conditions in the world. Looks like he will use Ragnarok again. I don't know if Ragnarok is a hard once per turn or not. I'm assuming it's not. But either way, we're going to see him go ahead and go for the Divisor. And then we're going to see him follow up with the Continuous. That of the Dark Contract with the Swamp King. And another problem to worry about here is that since Mirror Jade has left the field, it will destroy all cards or all monsters his opponents control at the end of the turn. Interesting fact, if you shuffle Mirror Jade or cards like it back into the extra deck face down, those effects do not activate. So if you were to Nightmare Unicorn spin back the Mirror Jade, its effect to blow up in the end phase does not activate, because it is it does not remember basically that effect, since it is face down in the extra deck. I know, very, very strange. But that is Yu-Gi-Oh! For you. We will see our DDD player come to a board of Siegfried and Divisor, which isn't going to matter too much, as in the end phase we'll see Albion set a branded fusion, and of course Mirror Jade is going to wipe the monsters that he controls, and yeah, not much can be done there. I believe our DDD player said he did misplay in the middle of that. Not exactly sure what the proper play was, but either way, Game 2 is underway, and DDD is taking the lead. Also, quick reminder to use my discount code WinnerKills10 off anytime you guys are shopping on ImperiumDuelist.com. They sell amazing playmats, dice, deck boxes, binders, and more. And also, don't forget to use the affiliate links I have to DCG Player and to the Coldest Water down in the description as well. So, getting into the game here, we will see him lead with Lamia pitching, I think it was a Necro Slime, and then normal summoning Night Howl of all things. It's been a long time since I've seen Night Howl, to bring back the Necro Slime. And then we're going to see him just go ahead and link into Gilgamesh, pay 1,000. Go ahead and activate Cerberus and Orthos, I believe, in the scales. And then we're going to see him activate Patent. I think that will get him back the Cerberus. And then we're going to see him activate Necro Slime. And that is going to go ahead and Fusion Summon for Genghis. And I believe he also used Cerberus to go ahead and make that Lamia a level 4 alongside of this Genghis, because it turns out I think Cerberus's effect is not a once per turn to make something level 4, at least not a hard once per turn, since he was able to rescale it. We'll see him link off the Marksman, or not the Marksman Tail, but the Wave Caesar for another Gilgamesh. That'll trigger Caesar's effect to go ahead and grab a copy of the Swamp King. And then we're going to see him fuse for a second Genghis, summon Divisor, that'll trigger Genghis to revive another Genghis. And there is the High Wave Caesar now. And ending on Divisor plus High Wave Caesar. Pretty solid end board here. High Wave Caesar is just an incredible card against a deck like Branded Fusion. The fact that it's a double Solemn Warning is so incredibly strong, being able to stop pretty much any fusion spell. And then you also have Divisor taking the potential fusion materials on top of that. So just an overall really good board here to try and potentially counter this deck. We will see our Branded Despia player here lead with a Pot of Prosperity, going for a full Banish 6. Till we try to get into something to beat this board here. Otherwise, we are heading to a Game 3. Lancia Ash, Lancia Branded in red, Dramaturge, and Edge Imp Chain. So really only revealing 5 cards there, especially with a double Lancia. I mean, Ash and Lancia honestly really aren't doing anything for him here on this turn. So technically only revealing 3 cards here. And we will see him take the Dramaturge, it looks like, maybe. Brandon in red could also be a very good add here. Looks like that is what he will indeed go for. But of course, that Brandon red could be negated by High Wave Caesar, because it does, include an effect that tries to special summon a monster. We will see him normal summon a Luber to add a branded spell or trap, and we will see Divisor effect activate, popping the contract of the Swamp King to go ahead and attach the Aluber. And obviously he could attempt to chain Brandon red to dodge the Divisor, but then you have High Wave Caesar that is going to negate it. I mean, it's a very tricky spot to be in. And I believe our DDD player wanted to go ahead and read Albion there, so he got a chance to read it, since he did see the card last game. I think twice it was used. It looks like Aliber is going to add the Theater. And then we're going to see him activate Polymerization. That is going to be negated by High Wave Caesar. That's going to boost Divisor and Caesar both by 1800 attack. We'll see him activate the field spell, which I think acts as like a potential Polymerization. And we're going to see him pitch 2 Despian Tragedies here to go for a fusion play. Now, we will see him summon the Quartus, which does have an effect that I believe says during the main phase. Quick effect, you can make all monsters your opponent control have 0 attack. Which can be kind of problematic, right? If you're trying to go for game potentially, and you don't really have a way to out that effect. Kind of foil your plans a little bit there. But right now I'm just kind of curious as to why he didn't stop the field spell effect of fusion. I mean, I guess I can see why, because he knows he has Branded in red in hand, and that would basically just let him be free to play for a potential Guardian Chimera play, which you definitely don't want. But you still also have to worry about Divisor too, which is really strong. I think you see a copy of Dasher in hand. And it looks like we're going to see him not add Ad Libitum, but add another copy of Aluber. And we'll see what the play here is going to be. We're going to see him activate the Quartus to drop everything to 0. We will see him chain Divisor, and then chain Brandon red, and then chain Artifact Lancia. So I guess now it makes much more sense as to why he did not use the High Wave Caesar, because he just outright didn't need to, because he had Lancia for the Branded in red. And yeah, Field Spell really didn't bring out anything that his board couldn't already deal with. And yeah, still has one more material underneath that High Wave Caesar to stop potentially maybe another Brandon Red on the next turn if he happens to have another. But yeah, Lancia doing one hell of a job here at stopping this deck. Again, alongside cards like Bell and DD Crow, Lancia also working just as well. Well, I feel like Bell definitely has more carryover to other matchups, in my personal opinion, but yeah, like, I mean, he could even have, like, standby phased Lancia to play around that Pot of Prosperity. That would have been extra dirty, but looks like our Despia branded player has seen enough, and we are into a Game 3 situation. Yeah, Divisor, High Wave Caesar, really strong board, especially for a deck like Despia to try and break, especially when Lancia is in the hand as well. We will see Prosperity activate here for our branded Despia player here in Game 3. Revealing 6 off the top, revealing Double Ash, Dasher, Super Poly, Brandon in red, and a Despian Tragedy. Basically revealing 3 off of this, maybe 4. Revealing the Tragedy. The Super Poly really doesn't do too much right now either. So like both the Ashes, the Dasher, and the Super Poly, I feel like really don't help you play right now. Although you definitely could take the Super Poly, because this deck, obviously DDD does put a lot of dark monsters on the field at the same time. But we will just see him go for the advanced T set. 2 in the back line, 1 monster set. And we will see our DDD player here lead with Cosmic Cyclone, hitting a bluffed Pot of Prosperity. So, I mean, that could have gone very differently there if he would hit the other back row, because I think that might have been a second Super Poly. And had he hit that, yeah, that would have been really rough. He could have also, I guess, chained Lancia to the Cosmic. I don't know necessarily why you wouldn't do that, because you would at least get to hold that Prosperity for follow-up next turn. But, I mean, he did banish 6. I don't know if you really want to banish another 3 off of that and have, like, 3 extra deck monsters left in the deck, or 6 extra deck monsters. I guess he could have banished 3 to start, since he had a second one, and he could have had another banish 3 for next turn as follow-up. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't see why you don't just Lancia on the Cosmic, but either way, we're just going to see him activate 1 for 1 here. That's going to help him get into Gilgamesh. And we'll see him activate Gilgamesh, pay another Thou to go ahead and get the scales from the deck. And he is under Lancia, though. We'll see how much he can actually do under the Lancia here. Now, Lancia doesn't really hurt DDD a ton. They do have ways of fusion summoning without banishing Dark Contract with the Swamp King. Yes, it does allow you to banish the fusion, but you don't have to. Let's not forget that making Divisor King is extremely easy. And also fusion summoning with Swirl Slime in hand also does not require any of those, doesn't require banishing, right? So definitely has ways of getting through it. And it looks like we will see Thomas add back Kepler, and we will also see Orthos activating. Gonna go ahead and hit that potential back row, and there's the Celestial in hand. Just cannot escape these DPE bricks. And that will force out that set Super Poly for a Quartus, fusing off his Gilgamesh and the Despian Tragedy. And we'll see the Despian Tragedy go ahead and search a copy of Aluber, which is a good follow-up here. I was going to say, now imagine if he would have Lancia'd on the Cosmic. He could potentially still have that Pot of Prosperity set in the backline. Yeah, I mean, or you could have been like 9,000 IQ and just hold the Prosperity, and like, if he hits that, I mean, you have the Lancia. I don't know. We will see him fusion summon for Genghis, though, from hand using a Swirl Slime and a Kepler. We'll see him scale a Kepler, which is a scale 10. We'll see him Pendulum summon out that Thomas. And we're going to see Genghis bring back the DD dog here. And yeah, that's 2 level 6s. That is huge. So we're going to see him get access to High Wave Caesar. Lancia, no problem. Can't banish, no problem. And still also has Thomas's effect available, which I believe can spec out a level 8 from the deck. I think we're going to see our DDD player here attempt to leave main phase. That's going to force out Quartus to drop the High Wave Caesar to 0. We will see Thomas activate, popping that Kepler, summoning out a Ragnarok, and that will allow him to go for a Divisor, keeping the Thomas up. Quartus effect will get negated by the High Wave Caesar, and we're going to see him pass on that. Yeah, definitely played through that Lancia to a T, I want to say. And the super polymerization really not being that impactful whatsoever there. Especially if it's just going for Quartus, right? Really not of a huge threat. The Luber is going to get summoned, and as you would expect, Divisor will take it after popping the Dark Contract. Because again, you can either pop a contract or detach 2 from Divisor. And most of the time you are going to have a contract. It sucks you have to get rid of the follow-up, but I mean, if it means you're taking an opponent's card and attaching to it, and also giving yourself more material for another take, I feel like it's kind of worth it. And he also has Thomas's follow-up too, just being able to summon another body from the deck. He could clear the Orthos, summon out a Ragnarok if he is playing more than one, and then link those into a Gilgamesh, get 2 fresh new scales, and Pendulum summon again. So that is a follow-up play in of its own. And it looks like he's going to add a copy of Branded Opening off of the Aluber. We'll see him activate Opening, discarding Contact C. Very unfortunate card. I think that was his draw for turn here. Definitely would have much rather seen something else. And we're going to see him summon the Dramaturge, which important to remember that Opening has to summon monsters in defense, cannot summon them in attack. And honestly, I really don't see if there's anything here our Branded Despia player can do. And it looks like that will signal the end of the match. DDD taking it 2-1. I do not have a deck profile for you guys this week. Just kind of the way things played out. If you guys want to see more of my content, check out one of the videos on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members. And they are Tweeter0226, Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Keith Sidgers, and Justin Lamb. Thank you guys so much as always for your extremely kind and generous support of the channel.